Hey everyone, welcome to the video. And in this video, I'll be talking about what is quantum computing. So when you say I'm doing quantum computing, what we are actually doing, and then I will tell you the basic models that the two popular models that are used to actually, do quantum computing. And after this video, if you think that you want to get into the field, and then I think these three projects that you can see on your screen are a good starting point: the quantum machine learning project, the quantum tic-tac-toe project, and the quantum glasses. So these three are good starting points that are available on the channel, and I think you should give it a try. And with that said, let's get to the topic already. Quantum computing. So quantum computing depends fundamentally on qubits, and these qubits are the fundamental computational unit of a quantum computer. And just like their classical analog, classical bits, it can take either the zero value or the one value. But the difference is that a qubit can also be both at the same time. So it can be a linear combination of 0 and 1 at the same time. And this particular state is called superposition state. So note that whenever you are trying to extract output from your quantum computer to see your computational results, the output can never be in a superposition state. All right, it will be either 0 or 1. So when you say that I'm doing quantum computing, what you do is that you try to change this probability of that superposition state collapsing into 0 or 1. And as you increase the number of qubits, the the possible resulting states also increase. So what happens is that you are trying to increase the probability of the superposition state collapsing into one particular state, and you are trying to decrease the probability for some other state. So this changing the probability of a superposition state collapsing into one and not another is what we actually do in quantum computing. All right, I hope that's clear. And talking about quantum computing models, we have two of them, very popular ones. One is circuit based, where you create a quantum circuit, and the other is quantum annealing, that's based on a concept from quantum mechanics called quantum tunneling. So this is what a quantum circuit looks like. Okay. So when you talk about a quantum circuit, it can be divided into two parts. Sorry, three parts. I mean, here only two are visible. This is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. So in the first state, you prepare the initial state of your qubit. So by default, or the qubits are in the zero cat state or the zero state. But if you are trying to work in a domain, for example, quantum machine learning, then you might want to encode your data into this circuit. So for that, you have to initially apply certain operations so that your data is encoded into the circuit. That operation, that part is called preparing your qubits in the initial state, and that's the first part. Now coming on to the second part here, then what you do is that you apply various operations. So these blocks that you can see here, uh, these are just quantum gates, and these quantum gates are nothing but they represent a certain operation, and these operations actually tend to create the probability of a particular state being the result of superposition higher, and it decreases the probability of some certain other state. So that's what you are doing when you apply these various gates. And the last part that you see here, these symbols here, they actually represent measurement. So a measurement is the way of actually extracting your output from your quantum computer. So these are the three basic parts of any quantum circuit. So let's get to the quantum annealing part. So I just told you that for a quantum circuit, the initial state of a qubit is by default zero ket, all right? But that's not the case here in the quantum annealing approach. The initial state will be a superposition state, that 0 plus 1 all at the same time state. Then what you do is that again you do apply various operations here, and then what you do is that you you increase the probability of a particular state being the result, and you decrease the probability of some certain other state. So in this picture, you can clearly see that initially, both are the lower energy states here, right? The arrow shows the energy state. Upwards it's higher, and downwards it's a low energy state. So initially you can see both are on the same level, the 0 as well as 1. And note that the lowest energy state is the solution here. So when you apply these operations that you can see, the magnetic field is nothing but the operations that you apply on a quantum computer using quantum computing. And so now you can see the energy has been increased here for 0, but it's still down. It's still lower energy for 1. So now what happens here is that the probability that the superposition will collapse into 1 is increased. And how it is increased? It's increased because you have applied certain operations that has resulted into this. And this is quantum computing in short. So if I just summarize up everything, then what happens is that you are uh, you are doing quantum computing to increase the chances of a certain state to be the result, and certain other state won't be the result. So for example here, what you have tried to do is that you want 1 to be the solution, and you don't want 0 to be the solution. Now for quantum annealing approach, there is various mathematics involved, like QO optimization, quadratic unconstrained binary optimization models, and it's just mathematics that's involved. And again, both of the playlists for quantum annealing approach as well as the circuit based approach are available on the channel. So if you're really interested, you can go ahead and check out. And that's it from my video. I hope you understood it. And if you don't, it's all right. It's quantum mechanics. Okay. So until then, take care.